All right, welcome back for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those back issue boxes at your LCS, those undervalued, underpriced, forgotten about type of books, just interesting things that I think you can still find tucked away in those boxes at your shop. Just things that pique my interest that I think are cool that I just kind of wanted to share with you guys and also highlight some artists and just cover some weird categories of books that, again, I find interesting and hopefully you find them interesting as well. Let me know what you think about this series and this episode in the comment section. And please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We're just about 2,200 subscribers so far, so we are well on our way to 3,000, at which point we'll probably do another huge giveaway if we hit 3K, but that's a ways off. But right now, we are doing our 12 Days of Christmas, which means I'm giving away 12 prize packs out to you viewers randomly throughout the month of December. Well, at least between now and Christmas. We started on November 30th and gave away a prize. I gave away another prize on Dollar Bin Digging, and then we gave away a third one last night on the Star Wars show, the Tales from the Dark Side. So we're already 3 prizes down, which leaves us 9 left for the rest of the month. And unfortunately, if you're hoping to get another prize today, we're not giving one away today. Again, they're randomly going to pop up throughout the month on any show that's on the channel. So keep an eye out at any time. I could do an announcement and give away some more stuff, and then you could pick which prize pack you want left. Because again, we have 9 left, and plenty of fun stuff to be had. Again, it's a thank you from me to you, the viewers. Appreciate you checking out our stuff, checking out our content, being a part of the shows, hopping on with us occasionally. Some of you guys have hopped on shows with us and provided feedback in the comments section. You guys make the tax show fun on Wednesdays when we do our tier listings and our rankings. So you guys are as much a part of this as we are. So again, thank you very much for all the support. And if you want to see what books I have for you this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. All right, so it's Hidden Gems time. So we are going to start off with our quick artist retrospective. Again, I'm going to spotlight an artist and go through a bunch of stuff that I find very interesting. And this week's artist is one that I'm sure many of you know, and many of you, I believe, are fans of the very talented Joshua Middleton. Josh Middleton has a style that it goes beyond just one style. As we go through a lot of these books, you will see a lot of different art styles that he does, from some things that might look a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more manga influenced, a little bit more realistic, a little bit more digital. Like, he really does many things and he does them all very well. I'm showing you X23 because this is probably one of the books you know best that is done by him, and he is the cover artist here for our NYX3, our first appearance of X23, Laura Kinney. So this is why I have it here, so you guys know who we were talking about. And he didn't just do issue 3, he did the whole run. So before we really get into this, let's take a look at 1, 2, and 3. We're just going to look. There's 7 issues in this run. He did the art here. Fantastic. And you can see even here the difference from more of the simple line drawings from issue 1, which kind of looks like it's straight from Euphoria these days. But this was, what, 2003? I think 2003, 2004 time is when these books came out. And this is issues 1, issue 2, issue 3. And you can see it kind of transition, like, again, the different styles that he kind of has here with 4, another popular one right there in the middle, 5 and 6. I love the perspectives that he takes. I mean, that mirror reflection is a really cool image, something you don't see very often. And it's not just like one pose. It's like he does a lot of different things, and he does a lot of things very, very well. And that's, again, 4 through 6. And then there's the final issue 7 here, which, again, this looks like the movie poster for what was that Sofia Coppola movie, The Virgin Suicides? I don't know, just something really cool about this image here as well, with them just it just encapsulates just that kind of I guess that time frame and that age. But as much as I like it, I'm not the only one who liked it. You know who else liked it? The Eisners. So he was the best cover artist for that year, not only for doing this series, but for doing a couple more, which we will get into as we go through the artist retrospective here. But Eisner Award winner, best cover artist, I believe, 2004. So just a ton of good stuff, and any of these NYX books, and that's why I'm bringing this up now. Yes, you're not going to find first X23 for cheap. It's not going to happen. I had it. I let it go. I had a 9.8. It was like $1,000 forever. I sold it to get some spending money from one of our vacations. I was like, I'm just gonna sell a book, and then I'm just gonna take it as our spending money for one of our vacations one summer. I can buy it back. It's been $1,000 forever, and wouldn't you know it, that following few months after I sold my copy for $1,000, it all of a sudden became a $2,000 book, and that's kind of where it's been ever since. So I'm probably not getting the 9.8 back of that book. I'm probably not getting that book back at all, because even raw copies are hard to find, and I don't want to pay, like, I don't know. It's just gotten too expensive. It's gotten out of my range again, so I'm most likely not getting another X23 first appearance. Oh well, we'll see. Maybe it'll dip down again to a price that I can stomach and I can afford. And yeah. But that said, any other book from that series, and I'm not just talking about issue 3, the first appearance. Issue 4 has also become pricey over the years, but just pick up any if you find them for cheap enough. Here we're seeing that copies can go for as cheap as $5, to $10. Just they're not that expensive right now, but at the same time, you hit the moment right, and the ask could be a little bit higher, because then people start pushing that. Well, in issue 5 is the third appearance of. I know it is what it is. Like, do you really want to pay a premium for a third appearance of a character? Probably not, but it's still just a really cool series, and cool covers here done by a very talented artist. So for that reason alone, if these books are cheap enough, it's just something to consider, because they're not that bad right now. I mean, anywhere from, like, again, $7 to like $15 are really the asking prices as well, and it could sell for a little bit cheaper. Now, that's one of the series that he did covers on the year that he won the Eisner. So I'm going to fill in the other two that he did that time frame as well, including the New Mutants. This is a run I've loved for a while too. He did these first 6 issues of this. I can't even remember what volume of New Mutants this is, but it's just really cool stuff. I mean, you look at the art here; it's just fantastic. Just the mood, the color, the palette. It's just completely different from what we saw just on NYX. It's not the same thing being done. And then he just transitions even more here with issue 4, 5, and 6, almost portrait styles here from now, with the characters being spotlighted on the fronts. And some of these are a little bit pricier because they feature some first appearances of, like, Prodigy and somebody else in here. I think it's in one of the listings. We'll get to it. But those two in the middle and on the left, issues 4 and 5, are trading at a little bit of a premium because of those first appearances. So again, here's 4, 5, and 6. We're just going to look at these all kind of together, just give you a ballpark ideas of what these things can go for. And you can see random issues can sell for like $5, and other issues that have like that first appearances of, like, Prodigy and I can't remember the other character. It can be more like $14, and then you can see issues 3, 4, 5, and 8. So a 4-issue lot, and then not all of them had Middleton art, because Middleton only did the first 6, but that lot sold for $50. So it's just, these things can sell for a premium there as well if you put a bunch of them together. Elixir, there we go. The top listing there has it listed where you can see issues 4 and 5. I'm sorry. Somebody's asking $75 for those first appearances of Prodigy and Elixir. So yeah, these are mutants we might see if once we get mutants in the MCU, but is that really a reason to go and pay that kind of price for these? Probably not. But they could get a bigger profile in the comics. And I'm not saying pay market prices. I'm saying these are asking prices and some of the selling prices. If you find it in your shop and you go, oh, look at this, they got issues 4 and 5, and they're like $5 each. Well, it's up to you. Do you want to pay $5 for it or not? That's what we're talking about here. At least that's what I'm talking about. I don't know how your store is going to price. I don't know the prices at your shops. So I don't know what you can grab and what you can't. So I'm just giving you ideas and giving you some pricing information so you have some opportunities of things you can go and dig for and look for that, again, aren't the hot books of the week. It's not something that everybody out there is chasing right now because it's on a hot 10 list, or it's part of some recent announcement or some trailer that we just saw that shows this character showing up. This is stuff that's just kind of forgotten about and could be underpriced and undervalued, like in those shops. So you can see here, prices on these can range anywhere in the $15 up to $30, $75 for the pair, $40 at auction for issues 1 through 13 complete. it's all out there. Like it's a wide range of asks. So just keep that in mind, but also just see what your shop has. Support your LCS, see what they have in their back issue bins. And if they got nothing, well, then they got nothing. I'm just saying, give it a shot, give them a try. Because even if you think they don't have anything, maybe I'll tell you about books that they do have and you didn't know about because it's not, again, something you were thinking about. Like maybe you weren't thinking about old school X-Men Unlimited books because this is also part of why he won the covers, the cover awards, because these covers are fantastic. These are fantastic X-Men covers from Mystique, and you got Emma Frost there, you got Psylocke. This is issues 40, 42, and 47. It's a staggered run that he did. It wasn't a complete run, but he did a few issues. These are three of the best. He also did a Nightcrawler that's pretty cool. I know I'm spotlighting the female covers here because they're just the ones that pop, and they're the ones catching my eye right at the moment. So these are great covers. These are great covers and ones you should be keeping an eye out for. Now, what do some of these covers do? Well, they get sold for cheap. You can see them selling for like $4 or $5. But at the same time, that same cover that sold for $4 or $5 also could sell for like best offer on $30. What did they accept? I'm not positive, but it's probably more than $4 or $5. Prices, again, not really steady or consistent, but you can see the opportunity is there. Asking prices on the same token could be anywhere from as cheap as $3 for that Mystique cover. I think that's well worth $3 to like $10 to $15 for that Psylocke. And same thing with the Emma Frost. It's kind of in that range. It's just, it depends. Depends what you find. Maybe you find these X-Men Unlimited books in a dollar bin. You could. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I know I have found these before. I don't think I found all of these, but I think I found the Mystique in a dollar bin. They're there. Just go dig it in a box. Who knows what you might find. And if the cover speaks to you, grab it. I don't know. That's what I do. If the cover speaks to me, there's probably other people out there that might like it as well, even if I buy more than one. And then, well, I can either sell it or give it to somebody. Do what you got to do. Hobby how you want to hobby. I'm not telling you what to do with your comics, not telling you what's right and what's wrong. It's you do what you want to do. It's really up to you. That said, that is why he won the Eisner for that years of covers. But that was almost 20 years ago now. He's been doing work for almost 2 decades. Great work, including stuff that just came out not that long ago, like this. Look at this portrait. This looks like actual fine art portrait here. This Ms. Marvel, the new champion of Shazam, Mary Marvel cover. And again, this came out recently, so this is still kind of trading right around that cover price. You can see $5-6 is really what it's going for. It had a $4.99 cover, so it's a little bit higher than cover, but there are copies that are actually asking for less than cover. $2.50, $4, $6. Not a pricey book, but it's a great cover, and it's just a B cover on the DC side of things. And he's done a number of B covers throughout the years. And going back to Rebirth, here's another B cover that I think is worth checking out. This one on Batman. This Poison Ivy is just gorgeous. Love this cover. I love this cover since when it came out. Still love it now. Issue 26 on Rebirth, Batman. It's a fantastic cover. I love the background, just the layout. It's just, I don't know. I dig it. And this thing does all right if you can find it in a box. So if you find it in a box for cheap, yeah, you can see it can sell anywhere from $10, $15 to $20 just for a Rebirth book. There's nothing really special about it. There's no first appearances or anything. This is trading for the cover art alone. So that is also something you don't see a lot of. There are certain artists where people will collect, your Adam Hugheses, your Jenny Frizzens and whatnot, and there's certain covers that people focus in on, and those covers like trade at a premium. Dave Stevens is another example. There's plenty of artists, and I am a collector who loves to collect artists' work, and this is the kind of thing that I pay attention to because this is the kind of thing that I like to have in my collection because I like having different artists' work, and I like having their best works. And this is one of my favorites by Middleton for whatever reason. This is one that just it grabbed me when it came out. I was like, I definitely got to get this. And even so, today it's still anywhere in $10 to $20 are the asking prices, so you could still do all right. One that kind of put him back in the forefront of collectors' minds, and I could have used this for our first image and not the X23 cover, is this Batgirl. This Batgirl, I'm sure you all know it as well. This was just great. When it was announced, it was teased. We knew we were getting it, and even when it came out, it still got ridiculous price. Like it's not to say ridiculous. It's become a very expensive book. And we should have known. I mean, you can look at it. This cover is beautiful. Thankfully, I have this, and thankfully, I have it in 9.8 because I found it in a box. I bought it and got it graded, and thankfully, I got this Batgirl number 23. It's just a B cover. It was open to order The shops could have ordered and did order whatever they thought they could sell, and this thing sold. And even today, it still sells. Um, Again, you see $100 raw, $200 in a 9/8 is recent sales. Those are both on December 2nd. Filming this on Sunday, December 4th. So just 2 days ago, $100 raw, $200 for a 9.8. Still sells very, very well. Asking prices on it, the asking prices I can find now are about $150 raw, and then closer to 250 ish for those 9/8. So once again, very expensive book, but maybe you can look out and find it in a box. I don't know. Probably not, but I couldn't leave this one out when we're covering the artist, so I had to put it in here and just give you a sense of the market on this Batgirl 23. Now, he did a good run on Batgirl as well. It wasn't just this cover. There's a lot of really fantastic covers that he did as part of this run of Batgirl covers. And we're going to do a couple more runs too as we finish up. I know we're 15 minutes in and I'm still talking about our artist, but he's that good. I'm just that much of a fan of Josh Middleton that I think it's worth spending this time going through some of these works. Like, I'm just going to show you some covers. Here's issue, what is that? That was 24? Yeah, I think, yeah, there's Batgirl 24. That came after the 23. The skeleton split. I love that one too. Going back to earlier, number 13 looks more like an anime type style. It's more of like a cartoonish, like kind of vibe, whereas you get the more defined line work and like realistic kind of like take with that skull there in the middle. And then meanwhile, you get that kind of like pop art kind of like throwback retro style there on what issues? Issue 26. These are all within 10 issues of each other, and these are very different art styles that he's given us. This is how much range he has as an artist, which is, again, what I find very impressive about Middleton. And again, still a fan. Still a fan. I still pay attention to what he has coming out. And there's others. There's others in this run that are, I think, are just as good. That maybe they don't sell for $100, but they are just as good as pieces of art. With 28 there in the middle, and you got other ones going back to 22. Again, different styles, different takes, different perspectives, angles. It's just fantastic. So again, you can look at some of these things, and some of these still do all right. So if you can find them for cheap in a box, I mean, it is Rebirth after all. Rebirth was ordered pretty heavily, and there are usually Rebirth copies out there. So if you can find back issues for cheap, maybe you scoop them up because some of these can still sell. These random issues, not that that one, the one 23 that everybody knows. Other issues can sell $10, $15, up to $25. Those are some recent sales. Asking prices could still be as cheap as down to like under $4, $7, up to $50 for a lot of them. Maybe you get a lot and you get a nice little collection of art. Because again, fantastic cover run that he did there on Batgirl. But let's backtrack real quick before we move on to some more of these other cover runs that I kind of briefly mentioned. Let's backtrack for a second to his first work. Surprisingly, his first work was with CrossGen. Yeah, you guys remember CrossGen before Marvel ended up, I think, buying it, but back in like I guess the 90s, his first work was CrossGen Comics on Meridian, and you can see a little bit of his style there in more of the cartoonish kind of like caricature type before he really settled in. But this was his first work, and this is what I want to say. I mean, not even this might have been like 2001. I think it was thereabouts at the time. I think it was 2001, so not the 90s, but early 2000s. So 2001, I think, was the first Meridian. But this book, even for being a cross-gen book, it's something you keep an eye out for in those dollar boxes. I know everybody looks for that Mystic because of that Harry Potter appearance in Mystic number 15. There's not a lot of cross-gen books to look for, but CrossGen had some solid artists who started there. Greg Land was one of the artists, I think, over on what was that other type? Sojourn, I think. And we had here, you got Middleton starting on Meridian. Like, there was a lot of good cover artwork happening over on CrossGen. And as you can see here, this issue can sell for like $10 on its own. And then you got an almost near complete run of the series could sell for as cheap as $27. So I mean, it's up to you what you would like to put your money towards. Again, I'm not telling you that's what's sold. I'm not telling you how to spend your money. It's just keep that in mind when you're out shopping. Because you can see asking prices for this single issue, issue one, $8 at $10. It's not going to make you rich if you find one in a box, but it's a cool little collectible maybe to add to your collection. After his work over on CrossGen, he did this independently owned, I guess, kind of thing, this ComX. And it really only had this one issue, I think, that came out. What was this again? Sky Sky Between the Branches. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Sky Between the Branches. This issue 0. It's a flip book. So the book in the middle and the book over on the left there, with the girl in the water. It's like a flip book. Those are the two covers, and then the one in the greenery and like the forest. I think that was a limited edition. That was limited to something like 80 or 100 copies or something. It was just like some hard to find book. But I wanted to show you all 3 covers because he did all of the art. And you can see here some of the prices on this book. This Sky Between Branches issue 0 sell for as cheap as $10. That limited one sold for $40. And this could sell for as cheap as $5. Those are sold prices. But meanwhile, people might ask for a bit more, where they're asking more $15 to $30 for that regular issue, and then close to $100 for that limited edition back in 2002. So that's where we're at now with his art. He's also done some store exclusives as well. Not a ton, like not as many as you would think. He's usually just in the mix. Like when we have those big milestone issues that have 100, it seems like 100 different store exclusives, especially the last few years, like that Batman 50 and whatnot. He might have been in the mix, and he does do some exclusives like that, but not a ton. So you can see there's a Vampirilla exclusive, there's a Harley Quinn, and then I think that was his exclusive for Batman number 50 with the wedding issue with Catwoman. And even amongst here, you can see the style being different. Like how, yes, it might look like a painting here, but the way that it is done and shaded in the Catwoman is completely different than how it is done for the Vampirella. And then you have the Harley, which more looks like an animated art style, like simple line drawing. Like look how delicate those lines are, just with the outline. It's a very thin outline. It's not like a thick, like Adam Hughes like outline black border that you'll get these days or something like that. It's just different styles, and again, I appreciate it. I love art, and I can appreciate the work that must go into this. Going to go back through some more fun stuff. Like I said, I'm just trying to wrap this up so we can get to the other books. But some of the cover runs that he's worked on, going back to Vixen, is one of my favorites. Vixen Return of the Line. This was only a 6-issue series. These are just a couple of the issues, the covers that I like the best. Issue 1, number 5 is probably my favorite, which is the fire and the close up on the face, and then you can see like those wolves there on the issue 2. Great stuff. And some of these do all right. I mean, you can see not like a ton of money, but this kind of stuff you might find in a box if you're interested. You can see $6, $5, lots. Issues 1 through 5 could sell for as cheap as $15 for the whole set. I guess it was 5 issues, not 6 issues, but good stuff, right? Asking prices here, $11 for that issue 3, and then $16 for issue 5. Meanwhile, issues 1 through 5 could be $36. Those are some of the asks out there. Again, I don't know what you might find in your shop. I found the number 5 because the number 5 always catches my eye. I grab that usually every time that I see it because I just think it's a fantastic cover. Just like my very first, I believe, article on Dollar Bin Digging way back when I talked about this Supergirl book because I just love this cover, and I still do. Issue 43, it's just one of those things. I just remember it. It's one of my earliest works over on comicbookinvest.com. Well, I did do Usual Suspects for a few months before I started doing Dollar Bin Digging, but as soon as I started doing Dollar Bin Digging, like this was one of the books that, again, I was always looking for it because it's just great. And this entire run, again, is some fantastic covers, and they're usually very, very cheap. These are not that expensive, any of these Supergirl covers, but I look through them and I look at them all the time, and I try to complete runs of these for whatever reason. But copies can sell even online for as cheap as $1, $4, and look, under $4 for this issue 43, which again, it's just gorgeous. Just love this cover. I love this cover. And asking prices can be like $8, $3 to like $8. It's again, they're not expensive, but this is the kind of stuff. If you like him as an artist, maybe you go look through these because this is a great run for him. I love this run because it goes back a little ways. This was 2009, so this is kind of in the middle, and then we can jump ahead like 5 or 6 years when we get back again to Rebirth because he did a ton of stuff with DC during the Rebirth time, including this cover run on Aquaman. So the Aquaman, I think most of these were the B covers throughout this run, even though they look very close to the A covers early on before they got that minimal trade dress style. The A B covers for DC used to be very, very close. But you can see there with Mare on issue 10 to 15, there's 33. Again, so different, but this is the same artist. This is the same art, same person doing this art, but they look very, very different. When you look at the way that the Aquaman's hair is just kind of like more freestyle, free form going there. Meanwhile, the Mara underwater looks very photorealistic almost. Same with the water splashes there on 15. It's just different takes, different styles. And then you can go here to other issues, 26, what is that, 39, and issue 40. Again, a lot of range here. A lot of range. Love these covers. And these are other things. You can probably find these for cheap. They're Rebirth books. Rebirth books. Nobody's looking for Rebirth books like that. But this dolphin cover, $25 still, or $7. Depends on the day. $7 or $25. And then random other issues could be as cheap as best offers on $2 or down around $7. Some of the asking prices could be as cheap as $1.50 up to like, $15, $25. Yeah, it's all over the place. But this is another one I really like. This 26, this dolphin cover. I know a lot of people are hoping to see her in the sequel. I mean, maybe we will in this Aquaman sequel, but I don't know. I don't know for certain. Another character he's done for DC. It's Wonder Woman. It's shorter run, and also did a couple covers for Black and Gold, I believe. But here are a couple for Wonder Woman that, again, just different styles here, going from black and white to the very bright, again, very cartoonish, more animated look to the more photorealistic there. Different styles, same artist, same guy, did all of this. I'm just impressed by the talent. Moving through here, a couple of more. It's just different. They're different styles. They're different styles, and it's all done by the same guy. Even the faces don't always look the same, so it's not like, oh, everybody has the same face, or even the same character has the same face in each cover, because the faces between these three are slightly different. They all are recognizable as being Wonder Woman, but it's not the same like photo reference, I guess you would say. You could see with a lot of other artists where they might use the same person. It's like, oh, she looks just like so and so, like some actress or whatever. But just more stuff here. Again, I'm just kind of showing off covers because I'm a fan, big fan, and again, just the range is just mind blowing. Again, you can see what I'm talking about, right? You see the difference between the one on the left and the one in the middle, and then yet again the one there on the right. Different. A lot of range here, and a lot of these covers can sell for like $5 to $8, $5 to $10. Not a whole lot. Asking prices still $5 to $10. It really depends on the cover, but it's just go see what you can find. See what you can find in the overstock boxes, those cheap boxes. You just collect the art for the art's sake, and you might have some decent reads too. I don't remember reading the run of Wonder Woman here for anything being to write home about, but hey, maybe it's good. Just check that out as well. I know this is the artist retrospective, so I'm really only talking about the covers, but let's not forget that there are stories inside these books too. Yeah. All right, we're almost done. I'm just going to give you a little bit more of a hodgepodge show off for his talent here with Vampirella, and then we got another Wonder Woman there with the Convergence back in the day. Then you got it almost looks like a cartoonish Superman and Shazam. There, that first Thunder book. That was another one I love finding in the dollar bins. And then we can see he did some. Like we got Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw. We got more of a sci-fi look there with Martian Manhunter, and then you got more of like that gritty Vertigo style there with American Virgin. Again, he's done a lot over these 2 decades or so that he's been an artist in comic books. Green Arrow, Dark Knight Steel, and you go back to Runaways. Tons of good stuff. Tons of good stuff. And like I said, you can look at how different these covers are from even one another. Serenity, Street Fighter, you get more of that cartoonish animated style, and then Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy. Like I said, I'm a big fan. That's it. Going to wrap up our Josh Middleton supposed to be quick artist retrospective. I know it took a while there, but as I said, I'm a big fan. So there were more books I had to cut. I had more books planned. I was like, this is getting too ridiculous. So check them out. Tell me what you think. Show off some of the books that you have. I know there's plenty I didn't talk about, but those are just some of the ones that I thought were interesting to kind of show off the range that he has as an artist. But moving on, but still kind of tying back to Middleton, we're going to move on over to variants, and I'm going to start off with 2 Middleton variants that are low ratio incentives that maybe you can find just to kind of connect the dots here, get a little bit of a through line as we segue into variants. First one being, I told you he did that run on Supergirl. On issue 50, the regular issues of Michael Turner cover, it does all right. It's like a $8 to $10 type of book. But he also, Middleton, who did the regular cover run at this time, got to do the 1 in 10. And this is one I also always look for. these DC 1 in 10s are sometimes just mixed in with regular back issues. I mean, they were only 1 in 10s. A lot of stores qualified for them. A lot of stores don't remember that they're variants, and they just get thrown in the piles for some of these issues. And this is one I've gotten for cheap a couple of times. And I do have it in 9.8. I just got lucky that I found one that was a 9.8. I just submitted it, no clean press or anything like that. Just how I found it, and subbed it, got my 9.8. So I do have this in 9.8 somewhere in a box here. But this 1 in 10 is one that does all right. When you figure 1 in 10 ratio would be about $10, this thing gets sold for closer to about 50. There's a best offer on 55. End of November. Some of the asking prices here, $45, $50, $72. This is an interesting book. It's just a milestone edition. There's nothing really huge in the guts of this book. It's just a awesome Middleton cover. That's a 1 in 10. That ain't the easiest to find, but who knows? It could be at your shop. If you didn't know this was the 1 in 10, you weren't thinking to go digging through old Supergirl back issues, because who's digging through Supergirl back issues these days? Yeah, everybody knows they get the Lost 23 Adam Hughes cover, but there are plenty of good Supergirl covers you can still go out there and find that might just be in those boxes. So here's one. Keep an eye out for it. Maybe you find it. Same thing with Wonder Woman. And you might find these 1 in 10s, again, just mixed in with the regular books. I found this at a shop. I found this at a flea market once, I think, for $2, and I found this at a shop in a back issue bin for $4. This is 1 in 10 for issue 30, Rise of the Olympians. This is 2009, I think, right? Is that what it says? Yeah, May 2009. This is another Middleton cover. Love this one, too. Like I said, found it a couple of times. Couldn't find any that sold recently, though, surprisingly. But asking prices, about $20. $20 raw. 9.8's about $100. Not too bad, but it's a 1 in 10. So it's 1 in 10. Maybe you can find it. So go take a look. The next two, just wrapping up our little variants. We're going to pivot. It's not going to be Middleton. We're pivoting away from Middleton, but we're going to stick with the 1 in 10 idea and go with 1 in 10s. That there are a ton of these, because House of X and Powers of X printed a lot of copies. There were a lot of variants, a lot of incentives, a lot of ratios, but the 1 in 10s, some of these are pretty cool. Not all of them are like valuable or in any way. Some of them sell for even undercover price, but here's one that's not too bad. This is issue 2 for House of X. I love the Lion Storm with the Mohawk. I love that look. Love this cover. And for 1 in 10, it's got, the background, you got the mountains. I like this one. And this one, again, it's not going to set the world on fire, but still, you can find it right around ratio. It's like $8 to $10. I think it's worth looking for. This one in particular. Asking prices, again, $8 to $10. Not an expensive book. Not saying it should be an expensive book. I'm just saying this is a 1 in 10 that maybe you find for even cheaper than that, because it's been sitting around in a shop for years now, because House of X and Powers of X, like that, that storyline kind of, it's past. It's past its time. We're moving on to another era for the X-Men. So take a look. Take a look. Maybe you find it. And here's Powers of X. This is issue 4. I like this cover as well. It's just a different take. You got Lockheed, Shadowcat. Pretty cool. This thing sold for $7. Well, with $20 shipping. So it was really a $27 sale if it was a US buyer. But just an interesting book. And one, like I said, $5, $8, $12. It's right there around that 1 in 10 ratio. I think it's just kind of cool, and just kind of spotlighted it, because it just cover art alone. Those were just two that really jumped out to me as far as cover art goes, for 1 in 10 that you can probably get for less than ratio. You can probably get these pretty cheap if you go hit up your stores. I don't know. Take a look for it. That said, moving off variants, moving through our show here, we're going to go over to some oddities at this point. Oddities. What are oddities? Well, these are things that really fit naturally into any category. So I just kind of just throw it here in a little hodgepodge, little extra drawer near the front door of the house kind of thing. So our oddities for this week go to a show that I am a big fan of. I didn't know much about it until I started watching the animated series on Amazon Prime, and that was Critical Role's Vox Machina. Talked about it before. There's some really tough to find variants in those first appearances. Going back, cover those on Chasing Ghosts already, but here I'm showing you this. This is the trade paperback for Volume 1, because Volume 1 didn't have a traditional print release. It's just in trade. This was like a webcomic. There is issue 1 that was an Emerald City, I think, exclusive, and that's one of the very, very expensive books. And then there's that Shadows of the Vampire, I think, 1 in 10 incentive variant that just has the characters on the cover. I think that might be the first time that they were shown on anything. That's also like a random thing that's out there. But this was like a web kind of like comic, and then they collected it in trade here for volume 1. So that's why I'm showing you this trade paperback. Just give you the sense that that's why you're not going to find volume 1 in the boxes, in your back issue boxes, but you may find volume 2, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So here's volume 2 of Vox Machina Origins, series 2, as you can see there, issue 1 in the middle, issue 2, issue 3, and then it's 6-issue series. So we got 4, 5, and 6. There's a nice oversized hardback collected edition that still trades for very, very cheap. It's under MSRP. I think the cover price is like $30 or something. You can still get it for like $18, under $20, and it's probably worth grabbing if you think this kind of stuff is cool. You like this, fantasy adventure, Dungeons and Dragons type deal. If you like it, like I do, I mean, I'm rocking my Final Fantasy t-shirt here. Maybe give it a try. But here, if you can check out for these floppies, volume 2. These do all right. These do all right. For one reason or another, I didn't put the pricings in here for these two, but these things can sell from anywhere from around, I don't know, $10, $15 each. Issue 1 can sometimes trade for around like, $30. You can also see them get snuck for a little bit cheaper, like maybe $10 or even under on the occasion. But for the most part, the asking prices for like issue 1 are in that $20 kind of range, where the other issues could be anywhere between 5 and like 15. Just kind of ballpark it. Again, I don't know why I didn't put the prices in here. I thought I did, but I must have screwed up in making the deck. So I'm just going to tell you on the fly while we shift on over to the last segment for this week's show, and it's my nostalgia picks. And my nostalgia picks for this week, I'm going to shift on over to G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. There's a lot of good that's in that original Marvel G.I. Joe run. I mean, there's tons of firsts for those characters, because there's a ton of G.I. Joe characters, and a lot of them first appeared. What are we going to get going forward? I don't know. That Snake Eyes movie just didn't really hit the mark. I know there's still rumors that we're going to get some sort of Lady J focused TV series. Maybe it still happens. Maybe they can. I don't know what we're going to get going forward. All I know is, regardless of how many times they screw up adapting G.I. Joe, I'm still a fan. I still love the figures. I still collect the toys, as you can see there next to me. But one of the runs that I always like to grab and find in those cheap boxes, the dollar boxes for G.I. Joe, are any issues related to Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and this run right here, 94, 95, and 96, these always do well. If you can find them, keep an eye out for them. These 3 issues, the Snake Eyes trilogy, it was called at the time. It does all right if you can find these. I found these in dollar bins tons of times. I flipped them before. Always do well because people like Snake Eyes. People like Storm Shadow. And you're going to do all right if you can find these types of issues. Granted, these days, G.I. Joes are tougher to find. But back in the day when nobody cared, these were ones that people still cared about. And you can see here, even as evidenced by the price, 94, 95, 96. The set selling for like $33. There's another set selling for like $40. Just, again, as a collection, if you can find them cheap enough, this does all right. And granted, individually, you can do, the same kind of ballpark kind of prices, anywhere between like $8 and $15, maybe even up to $20 a piece. But it's really just making that set is going to be the easiest way for you to move it, if that's what you're looking to do. As you can see here, the asking prices can go anywhere from $25 to $40 to $60. They all look the same, but these are not the same seller. They're just listed very similarly for one reason or another. But just keep an eye out for this run. It's just a nice little 3-part storyline that you can still find, and I think it's worth looking for if you can find it. Now, my last book, and one that I haven't yet found, and I haven't found for a good price, is the special. The G.I. Joe special that came out after the regular series ended with this McFarlane homage here. Yes, I tried to get this once. I was at a show. I think they had like a 9.0 or they had like a lower. I don't even know if it was a 9.0. It might have been lower. It might have been like a 7.5 or an 8. It was a low grade graded copy, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this will be my only way to get it. Maybe I can get this book for like $100. And no, they wanted like $350, I think, for like what it was like a 9.0 or something. I was like, no, thank you. I gotta pass. But still on the lookout for this book. Again, this was published. I put this little note in and found online. Published 2 months after the last issue, issue 155. It reprints issue 61 of the regular comic, but with artwork originally created by McFarlane, but replaced before publication. So, interesting little footnote with the McFarlane work. I think somebody mentioned that when I was talking about this on one of my dollar bin shows, picking up issue right around 60 or 61. Somebody in the comments. Sorry, I don't remember who it was, but I know you made a good comment connecting the dots with this special. So, the special is a book that I'm still looking for myself. But as you can see by these prices, this is why I haven't bought it yet. I'm a cheap person, or I shouldn't say cheap person. I'm a cheap comic collector. Try to pay for things for cheap because I like a lot of things, and I'm not going to pay a premium unless I really feel like I have to. But here, 225, $255 raw, and then a 9.8 was a grand. Yeah, that's just out of my range for this particular book. For this book, I can't go there. Asking prices, I definitely can't go here. $350, $400 raw. There's a 9.6 asking $425. I do like $100 for this. Like, again, that's kind of my target range. Maybe a little over. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. If I find a decent copy, but we'll see. Maybe one day stars will align and I'll be able to find this for a price that I have like available at the time. And maybe I'll splurge and spend a little bit more, or maybe I'll find a good deal and get lucky. Who knows? But I can be patient. I'm not giving up this hobby anytime soon, so I can afford to be patient. And that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Yes, there was no giveaway for Christmas today, but maybe tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. Or who knows? But we still have 9 prizes left to give away, and only, 20 days until Christmas? So it could happen at any time. So keep watching all our stuff. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see more of. There's other things I would like to try. Coming into 2023, I might shift up my personal selection of shows and maybe how they are released. Maybe certain things won't be weekly. Maybe I'll swap things in and out. Because I'd like to do more toy stuff. I wouldn't mind doing some game type stuff. I don't know. Tell me more things that you guys as viewers might be interested in us providing to you, and we'll see if we can accommodate you. Let's see if we can line up our interests and work together as a community to make some fun content. And with that all said, thank you again. I appreciate you all. Keep an eye out for more announcements and more giveaways. Check out the Chasing Ghosts tomorrow, the Tax Show on Wednesday, Dollar Bin Digging on Thursday, Mail Call Madness on Friday, Saturday Night Special on Saturday, and Tales from the Dark Side on Sunday. And the occasional pickups and random show in between. And I will see you guys soon with more content. All right, later.